How to move past limited beliefs to create the life you want. We live in a belief-driven universe where we give meaning to everything, whether the meaning is of positive service to us or not. Beliefs are one of the most powerful components to creating the life we want because they dictate our thoughts, feelings, and behavior from a subconscious level. We know a belief to be a notion or an assumption formed in the mind regarding the self and surrounding that is perceived as the absolute truth. With these beliefs, we produce feelings within ourselves based on the meaning we've attached, and in turn display specific behavior that aligns with those feelings. This is how we manifest our daily experience. For many, limiting beliefs obstruct the achievement of full potential. They stop a person from creating the life they choose for themselves. These acceptances of life make up what is known as the mental model, and more often than not, they reside on a subconscious level. The beliefs that many hold are generally created from emotion and can oftentimes be irrational in their standings, keeping a person from experiencing all that life has to offer them. Limiting truths are frequently acquired during childhood, but that's not always the case. Oftentimes, specific beliefs do not assist in the movement towards a person's intended manifestations, but rather stop them from pursuing their dreams and desires. They have the ability to block maximum potential. The most common way this occurs is with a simple pattern like this. Your mind creates false concepts and generalizations based on a series of particular events. Following this, your brain assigns definitions to those events. It may label them as containing an uncertain outcome and perhaps even as an unwanted or dangerous event to engage in. More often than not, this all happens without having enough information to go on to produce such reasoning. As a consequence, your brain and its interpretations halt you from taking action, even if those actions might actually point you in the direction of attracting your desires. More so, these types of beliefs are invisible to us. They operate from a behind-the-scenes realm and control a large portion of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in an automatic fashion. This reflex action is instinctive and designed as a protection mechanism, but it can run on faulty generalizations without evidence to back them up. For instance, if you carry a belief that failure is bad and therefore feel bad whenever you perceive to fail, your behavior will be to avoid opportunities that may help you grow, learn, and offer you new sets of encounters that place you in a position to create the reality you want. This is because you would have to be willing to fail in order to open yourself to these fresh experiences, and the beliefs you hold cause too much discomfort in the thoughts and feelings to even attempt this action. These type of brain interpretations based on beliefs can become very disempowering for people. They cause blockages that keep a person from taking certain actions, even though the action may be the most intelligent and reasonable choice to produce the outcomes desired. Although awareness is important in the acknowledgement of which beliefs are limiting, this isn't enough to stop them from continuing. For example, you might be aware that failure isn't such a bad thing, but your subconscious mind may still be conditioned to avoid it. Limiting beliefs are quite common. They are passed down from generation to generation, as well as within society. This isn't to place blame on anyone, but rather to point out a cycle that can be broken, or, alternately, passed on. The most common limiting beliefs are: I'm not good enough, I'm powerless, I'm not worthy, I'm not important, I'm not smart enough, I am a failure, I'm not capable, change is difficult, mistakes and failure are bad, if I make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected, What makes me good enough or important is having people think well of me. Limiting decisions shape everything a person does. They prevent the ability to see opportunities for what they are and often discourage people from even trying at all. Fortunately, no one has to live with false beliefs that are stuck in the mind and controlling the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Once these limiting beliefs are altered, it becomes apparent that there is always a choice in the matter and a choice in the type of life that is lived. Our behavior comes from feelings, which are a direct result of our beliefs, and then things become manifest according to the combination of that. When we learn to give our beliefs new meanings, the feelings and behavior can alter to ones that are more productive, comfortable, and in alignment with what is truly desired. You weren't born with limited beliefs, you adopted them. You told yourself what certain types of behavior and external stimulation means. Other people's behavior and outside circumstances hold no meaning on their own. Therefore, you internally give yourself the labels that consequently form beliefs regarding them. The most important thing to note about this is that there was an I of the self before you added any beliefs to the I. You were an interpreter before you made any interpretations. Accordingly, who you really are is the creator of your beliefs, not the sum total of them. It becomes habit to live as if we are the sum total of all our beliefs, including the ones that say, I'm not good enough, and I'm powerless to change my circumstances. However, if you take away those beliefs, the creator of them is still there. You came into existence as the creator and have created all of the beliefs that you have based on what you have observed and felt. Understanding that you truly are the creator is a powerful component to the following steps. To remove unwanted beliefs, find the behavior, issue, or problem that you'd like to eliminate. For example, avoidance, resistance, procrastination, impatience, etc. Remember that the behavior is a result of the feeling you get based on a belief that you have. So the question becomes, what do you believe that makes you behave the way you do? What does it feel like to you, about you, when this behavior arises? What do you say to yourself internally? It may be helpful to imagine or even put yourself in the position that brings this up in order to discover the statement you make to yourself about what is happening. Try to illustrate what is going on inside of you during that process, and then ask yourself how you feel when it's not happening so that you can comprehend the contrast. It is important to understand that anything you say to yourself to justify why something isn't working out for you is a limiting belief. For example, if you're having trouble finding a relationship, maybe you explain it with something like, women only want to be with men who have a lot of money, or guys are only interested in younger women. This is referred to as fighting for your limitations. Or, if you are bogged down with financial pressures, how do you feel about it? Anxious? Angry? Hopeless? If you stay with your emotion and acknowledge it for a moment, you'll find the limiting belief right beneath it. For example, anxiety might be saying, what will people think of me? Anger might reflect, life isn't fair to people like me. Underneath hopelessness might be, I'm just not strong or smart enough to figure this out. There will always be a larger or core belief that stems from this. Something must be researched a little further by you. Once you've identified common patterns and habits that lead to unwanted behavior, you can begin to break down the process by questioning the true meaning to the beliefs you've established. For example, the core belief for a large portion of people's problematic areas is, I'm not good enough. If you were to search back into your history of when the belief first originated, you may recall a person from your past, most likely from your childhood, that helped shape this belief into form. For instance, you may feel as though a parent or other adult figure has also criticized you or wanted you to be better, and discover a limiting belief along the lines of, "My dad used to criticize anything I did." However, several patterns and incidences could lead to the same belief. The conclusion you made was the right conclusion based on the information you knew at the time. The new option, now that you realize that you are the creator of your beliefs, is to challenge whether it's true for you now. Once you've discovered your core belief and how it may have come to be, brainstorm and look at the other possibilities and interpretations of the original event. Your brain interpreted the event in a certain way when you were younger or at a different time in your life, but those interpretations may never have been questioned now that you have grown as a person. You are different now. You're older and wiser, and you have the ability to reevaluate the meaning because of that. It could be that it was categorized incorrectly within your brain and can now be assigned a new meaning. For example, new interpretations might include, "My dad used to criticize anything I did, but that doesn't mean other people will. My dad used to criticize me as it was his way of showing me the right way to do something. My dad used to criticize me because his parents taught him this behavior when he was just a small boy. It's how he learned to act because they did it." These are just examples, and the events that you now choose to examine may vary to a large degree. However, finding the root of a belief that disempowers you and testing its accuracy based on the way you understood it at the time is a great way to decide if it now holds any truth in your life. You may realize that the old representation no longer applies to your current life, and this is common to dismiss as we become rooted in habits. We often reflect back to the old mode of being without thinking to test its certitude. Once you've discovered the old interpretation of belief that holds you back, question the previous meaning you gave it, and uncovered a new set of possible interpretations to adopt, ask yourself if this old belief is really valid. Is it the truth? It may be a truth, but is not necessarily the truth. You now know there are other possible interpretations, meanings, and reasons for the event. The explanation for this occurrence can be just as vast as how many occurrences there actually are. Next, try on a different belief. Use your imagination and experiment with a belief that is aligned with what you want. It may be something like, "Money problems in the past have taught me so much that I'm fully prepared to handle myself financially now, and I'm grateful for that." Or, "Now that I have been in an unhealthy relationship, I've learned what to look for in a happy, loving partner." The trick is to go beyond just saying it. You want to really experience this new belief and feel how it feels. This process questions the evidence you once gave yourself to carry the belief that held you back. As previously mentioned, one of the most important ways the beliefs shape reality is through their influence on behavior. For example, people who believe that they are capable and competent and deserving of their dreams notice and seek out opportunities that help them get there. Therefore, the next step to manifesting what you desire is to take different action. This might feel scary and uncomfortable, but act as if your new belief is true. In other words, if you really are the kind of person that has everything they want, how would you act around others? What types of people might you be around now? Where would you go? Try your new belief out. Put yourself in places you would be in if this belief were true. Step into the character of the new person you are and own it. Taking action, even the smallest step, will help solidify your new decision that offers you freedom. Your first steps don't have to be perfect, just headed in the right direction. Acknowledge and congratulate yourself when you've taken these steps, so that your brain is in alignment with the choices you are making. Realize that ridding yourself of one belief towards a behavior you choose to no longer have may not totally eliminate it, but much like the foundation of a building, there may be several bricks erecting the unwanted limitation or behavior. The more negative beliefs you remove, the shakier the foundation for the behavior becomes, until it eventually crumbles completely. The effort will be more than worth it. Each of us is born as a formless mass of clay. We look at our models in the beginning, those that are around us, and we begin sculpting that piece of clay almost immediately based on what we see. Somewhere in the process, many forget that they are the sculptor and begin to identify themselves as the piece of clay. We each have the ability to know things by reason, logic, and understanding, and we each have the ability to know things through experience. But third, and most important way we know something is when we create it, or when we distinguish it by knowing that we made it real for ourselves. By realizing that you weren't born with the beliefs you have, but rather created them for yourself instinctively, you now know that you have the power to change them. They were your creations to begin with. And at this moment, you may realize that you have distinguished yourself as being creator rather than the creation. You may now realize that you are the creator of your life that goes way beyond understanding or experience. And right now, knowing yourself as the creator of your life, ask yourself what is possible for you. What limitations do you have as the creator? You can shift yourself and your identity from I am my beliefs and how they manifest to I am the creator of my beliefs. I am the witness. I manifest what I want in my life. You know this now because you've now made the distinction, a distinction that you've created for yourself. As the creator, do you hold any limitations for yourself? As the sculptor, what will you now do with the clay? The creation has the ability to change at any time, however the creator will always remain intact. When you take away the unwanted beliefs, and therefore change your manifestations, you will still notice that you, the creator, are doing all of the work. The interpreter of life has the ability to create a new set of circumstances to interpret. You created the beliefs that created your life, and you may realize now that as long as you're going to walk around as a creation, you have the ability to change the creation to a different version of itself, if you so choose. One that is happier, more abundant, more successful, thriving, passionate, free, and joyful. You made the whole thing up from the beginning anyway.